If you happen to have a bolster or a block or a blanket you want to sit on, or sitting on your heels, or coming into cross-legged seat, whatever feels best in your body. You just want to begin rolling your shoulders back a few times and forward, releasing your jaw, and then coming into your comfortable seat. Closing your eyes if you'd like. Finding your breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Exhaling out the mouth or the nose. Whatever feels more natural. Finding your own rhythmic breath. Focusing your gaze on where your third eye might be, in between your eyebrows and the center of your forehead. Just focusing on a spot right there while you breathe in and out. Maybe visualizing your breath coming in and out like waves crashing on the sand at the beach. Bring our right ear over to the right shoulder. Pausing here, taking a deep breath in. And exhaling. Rolling the chin down through the chest, bringing the left ear over to the left shoulder. Pausing here, taking a deep breath in. And exhaling. Rolling the chin back down through the center, right ear, back over to the right shoulder. Head back to its natural upright position. Rolling the shoulders back a few times and forward. And once again, sitting in our comfortable seats. If you'd like to set an intention for this morning's practice, or just put a special thought out in the universe. And if you'd like to join me in one Om to open our practice together today, or you can just listen. Deep breath in through the nose. Opening your eyes when you're ready. We'll begin in child's pose. If you have a block or a bolster, gently getting it out of your way. Big toes touching, knees open, sitting back on the heels, arms extended long, forehead to the mat. Still focusing on that breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth or the nose. On an inhale, coming up to hands and knees. Exhale, tabletop. Palms directly under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Tops the feet flat on the mat. We'll begin with some cat-cow breathing. On an inhale, concaving the spine, drawing the belly button down towards the mat, hips up, looking up, inhale. Exhale, arching, drawing the chin to the chest, nose to belly button. Inhale, concaving, hips up, looking up. Exhale, arching. Inhaling. And exhaling. Taking a few more on your own count. Onto your next exhale, coming back to a neutral spine, tabletop. If you want to give your tail a little wag side to side. And then coming back to neutral. On an inhale, right arm reaching up towards the ceiling, following with your eyes. Exhale, right arm threading through the left, either to the right palm, elbow, or shoulder. Maybe resting that right ear on the mat if that feels okay. Breathing. Inhaling up to hands and knees, exhale, tabletop. Maybe another little wag of the tail. And then coming back to center. On your next inhale, left arm reaching up towards the ceiling, following with your eyes. Exhale, left arm threading through the right, either to the left palm, elbow, or shoulder. Maybe resting that left ear on the mat if that feels okay. Breathing. Inhaling, hands and knees, exhale, tabletop. From here, we're going to extend our right leg out behind us, tucking our right toes under on the mat or the floor, pressing back with that right heel. Coming back to center. Next, the left arm comes out right in front, left bicep next to the left ear. Staying here if this feels like enough, or maybe elevating that right leg off the mat. Flexing right foot, hips in line, drawing in strong through your root, your pelvic floor. And then staying right here if this feels like enough, or if you want to build a little more heat, you can bring your right knee, left elbow to touch. Taking 2 or 3 crunches if that feels okay. And then after about 2 or 3, left hand comes down, right knee comes back down, hands and knees. Next, we're going to extend our left leg out behind, tucking the left toes under on the mat or the floor, pressing back with that left heel, getting a nice stretch. Coming back to neutral, extending our right arm out, right bicep next to the right ear. Staying here if this feels like enough, or maybe elevating the left leg off the mat. Flexing left foot, hips in line, drawing in strong through your root. And then staying here, or maybe bringing left knee, right elbow to touch. Taking 2 or 3 crunches if that felt good on the first side. And then after about 2 or 3, right hand comes down, left knee comes back down, hands and knees. Big toes touching, knees open, sitting back on the heels, arms extended long, forehead to the mat. Keeping in mind, you can always come back to this child's pose at any time during this morning's practice. If you're feeling lightheaded or dizzy or need a little break, it's always available. On your next inhale, coming up to hands and knees. As we exhale, we're going to tuck our toes under, lifting our knees off the mat, drawing the hips up and back to downward dog. Lifting up and back with the hips, attempting to get the heels on the mat, not mandatory. Feet are wider than hips width. Big toes in line with one another. Thumbs are parallel, hands are about shoulders distance apart. Grounding down through all your fingers, pressing your knuckles into the mat. Maybe giving your shoulders a nice roll back so the insides of your elbows face one another. And then drawing back with the hips again, ears in line with the biceps. Maybe keeping a soft bend in your knees if you're feeling any pressure. If you want to gently shake your head no to release any pressure in your neck or shoulders. And breathing. From here, we're going to bring our right hand a few feet towards our left hand. And then we're going to step our right leg through into a 90-degree bend. You can use the assistance of your right hand if that's a little difficult. Otherwise, stepping that right foot through, coming into a 90-degree bend. And then from here, we're going to pivot our left heel in or not, if that doesn't feel good. So either left heel in or not. And then maybe with the assistance of our right hand and then our left hand, we're going to come up to standing. Maybe bringing that left heel in if that feels okay. Straight arms next to the ears, forward facing. Warrior one, right side. Really grounding down through that left heel, lifting up through your right quad, relaxing the shoulders, active arms. Breathing. From here, we're going to bring our right forearm to the top of our right thigh. We're going to reach up and over with that left arm. Left arm reaching towards our right, really extending through our left fingers, opening our chest slightly. Breathing. On your next inhale, turning to face the mat. As you exhale, left hand comes down on the inside of the left foot, right hand comes down on the outside of the right foot. Pivoting your left heel out, both hands planted. Right leg comes back to meet the left, top of push-up or hands and knees. And then from here, we're going to lift our hips up and back to downward dog. Pausing here for a couple breaths if you want to pedal your feet a few times. Breathing. From here, we're going to bring our left hand a few feet over towards our right hand, and we're going to step our left leg through into a 90-degree bend. If we need to use the assistance of our left hand, we can help guide our foot through, and then either pivoting that right heel in or not, and then maybe using our left hand and then our right hand to come up to standing, at which point we could bring that right heel in if that feels okay, or not. Hips facing forward. Straight arms next to the ears, warrior one left side. This time we're grounding down through that right heel, lifting up through your left quad, relaxing the shoulders, active arms. Breathing. And then from here, we're going to bring our left forearm to the top of our left thigh, reaching up and over with our right arm. Our right arm is reaching past our left toes, opening our chest, breathing. On an inhale, turning to face your mat. Exhale, right hand comes on the inside of your left foot, left hand comes on the outside of your left foot. Pivoting your right heel out, both hands planted, left foot comes back to meet the right, top of a push-up or hands and knees. If you have it in your practice to take a vinyasa, you can take one at this point, otherwise just making your way up and back to down dog. I'm gonna turn this way so my back isn't facing you. All right. So once again in down dog, we're gonna step that right foot through, left heel pivots in. We're gonna stand up straight, but this time we're gonna bring our left arm towards our left, right arm towards our right, hips facing forward. So your hip bones are facing directly where you're facing, maybe stepping your feet a little bit further away from each other, arms drawing away from one another. Seeing that your right knee is in line with your right second toe, and maybe gazing over that right middle finger. Breathing. On an inhale, straightening that right knee as you exhale, pivoting your hips towards your left, reaching forward with the right arm, either to your calf, ankle, or maybe a block, if you have a block on either side of your right foot. Left arm reaching up towards the ceiling, opening the shoulders, gazing inside that left palm, or maybe keeping your gaze down towards the mat. Maybe keeping a soft bend in that front right knee if you're feeling any pressure. Engaging your root, your pelvic floor, as you breathe. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, bending that right knee through warrior two. And then we're going to straighten the right knee, reaching up and back with the right arm. Left hand sliding on the back of the left thigh. Opening up those right ribs. Breathing into that right lung. Inhale, exhale, bending the right knee, right hand coming up and down outside of the right foot, left arm inside of the right foot, pivoting your left heel out. Both hands planted, right comes back to meet the left, push up or hands and knees, belly or hover, cobra or upward dog, back to downward dog. Inhaling, left foot steps through, right heel pivots in. Coming up to standing, first to warrior one, then we're going to turn our hips to face forward for you, bringing that right arm out to the right, left arm out to the left, stronger bend in that left knee, maybe stepping that right foot back slightly. Seeing that your left knee is in line with your left second toe, arms drawing away from each other, gazing over that left middle finger, and breathing. On an inhale, straightening that left knee, exhale, pivoting your hips towards your right, reaching forward with the left arm, either to the calf, ankle, or maybe a block on either side of your left foot. Right arm reaching up towards the ceiling, opening the shoulders, gazing inside your right palm, or keeping your gaze down towards the mat. Maybe keeping a soft bend in that front left knee if you're feeling any pressure. Once again, engaging your root, your pelvic floor, as you breathe. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, bending that left knee through warrior two. And then straightening the left knee, reaching up and back with the left arm. Right hand slide into the back of the right thigh. Opening up those left ribs. Breathing into that left lung. Inhale, exhale, bending the left knee, left arm coming up and down outside the left foot, right arm inside of the left foot, pivoting the right heel out. Both hands planted, left comes back to meet the right, push up or hands and knees, belly or hover, cobra or upward dog, back to downward dog. Nice work. From here, we're gonna bend our knees and walk, step, hop, or float to the top of our mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms by our sides. We're gonna do a few balancing poses. If you're feeling a little unstable, you can always go to a wall or grab a chair for support. We'll begin on your right foot. So right foot firmly planted. Left toes tucking under, either staying here as a kickstand at the inner ankle, calf, or maybe upper thigh, maybe not. Maybe one hand in front of the heart, maybe both. Focusing on a gaze directly in front of you at eye level, or about 3 feet in front of you on the floor can help you stay balanced. Keeping an even balance on that planted right foot, between the big toe, pinky, and the heel, Lifting up through your center and then maybe one or both arms up and overhead. Not worrying if you sway or fall. If your arms are up and overhead, bringing your hands back together to prayer through the heart center. We're going to bring that left knee forward facing, extending it with a straight leg, flexing the toes, opening our arms to a T, and we're going to try to thread that left foot through our center. I'm going to turn sideways, through our center, all the way behind us to warrior three. Trying to keep our hips in line, flexing that left foot. Arms can stay in a T or go alongside our ears. Activating your glute and release. Left foot next to the right, arms by your sides. Giving your hips a little shake, shaking your wrists out if you want to rotate your ankles each way. And then coming back to your psalmist DTE. Moving on to your left side. Left foot firmly planted, right toes tucking under, either staying here as a kickstand at the inner ankle, calf, or upper thigh. Maybe one hand in front of the heart, maybe both. Finding your drishti gaze either directly in front of you or about 3 feet in front of you on the floor. Keeping an even balance on that planted left foot. Lifting up through your center and then maybe one or both arms up and overhead. You may find one side is a little more difficult than the other, and that's typical in most of our bodies. If your arms are up and overhead, bringing your hands back together to prayer through the heart center. Bringing the right knee forward facing, extending it with a straight leg, flexing the toes, opening our arms to a T, and we're going to try to thread that right foot through our center, all the way behind us to warrior three. Maybe you just need to graze your big toe on the mat, and that's enough for you, whatever feels best in your body. Trying to keep the hips in line, maybe extending your arms in front, activating that right glute, and releasing right foot next to the left, arms by your sides, shaking your hips and your wrists, rotating your ankles. And then when you feel ready, coming back to the top of the mat, big toes touching, bending the knees, inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Slight bend to the knees, fingertips to the mat. Stepping back to plank or hands and knees. Optional chaturanga, downward dog. From here, we're going to kick our right leg up towards the ceiling, pointing our right toes. We could always bring that left knee down to the mat if we need a little extra support. Bending that right knee, opening our hips towards the right side wall if that feels okay. Otherwise, hips can stay facing forward. Maybe giving that right knee a stir clockwise, and then counterclockwise. And then coming back to center. We're going to draw that right knee through our center, hovering over the backs of our hands, resting the outside of our right foot on the mat, coming down to our right knee, keeping our weight centered, and then gently sliding our left leg long behind. Stopping wherever feels like enough for you, and then maybe coming down to that left knee, top of the left foot. If you want to use your left hand to assist your right foot to try and make your right shin a little more parallel to the front of your mat. And then once again, remember to keep your weight centered, not collapsing into that right side. And then choosing to stay here with straight arms, or you can come down to your forearms. You can stack your fists, resting your forehead on the stack, or if you have a block available, you can place a block under your forehead, or even use a block or a bolster under that right hip. If this is painful for anyone, I will show an option. So if you're not in pain and you're enjoying this, please stay where you are. If you are not enjoying this, I will show another modification. Coming to your back, bending your knees, feet on the mat. We're gonna make a figure 4, bringing our right ankle to our left knee. So making a figure 4, and then staying here, or maybe elevating that left leg and then possibly binding your fingers behind your left thigh. So that way you still get a nice stretch in your hamstring, IT band area. Otherwise, maintaining your pigeon pose for just a few more breaths. If you want to take it up a notch, you can always tuck your left toes under and elevate that left thigh off the mat and just make it a little more active and really use your core to engage. But if that doesn't feel good, you can bring that left knee down and top of the left foot. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, straightening the arms, coming to flat palms. If you use a block under your right hip, removing it. Exhale, rolling over to that right hip, swinging your left leg around, making your way into cross-legged, rolling forward, stepping or hopping back to plank or hands and knees. Optional chaturanga, downward dog. And then from down dog, we're gonna kick that same right leg up just to bring a little more blood flow back into that artery that we cut off. So we're gonna kick our right leg up once again, bending the right knee, opening our right hip, and just give it a little stir clockwise, and then counterclockwise, just to get some fresh blood moving in that area. And then bringing our right leg back down to down dog. If you wanna pedal your feet for a moment. And then when you feel ready, we're gonna kick our left leg up towards the ceiling, pointing our left toes. We could always bring that right knee down to the mat, if we need a little extra support. Bending that left knee, opening our hips towards the left if that feels okay. Otherwise, hips can stay facing forward. Maybe giving that left knee a stir clockwise. And then counterclockwise. And then coming back to center. From here, we're gonna draw the left knee through our center, hovering over the backs of our hands, opening our left shin to a figure 4, resting our left knee on the mat, keeping our weight centered, and then gently scooching, gently crawling that right leg back. And maybe coming down to that right knee and top of the right foot. And you can use your right hand to help adjust your left leg to try to make it a little more parallel to the front of your mat. Some of our hips just will not do that, so it's not mandatory, whatever feels best in your body. Staying here with straight arms, or maybe coming down to your forearms. You can stack your fists, resting your forehead on the stack or on a block. And you can always place a block under that left hip if that feels better. And then once again, if you have sensitive hips and knees and you did not enjoy this pose, another option would be to lie on your back with both feet on the mat, knees bent, and cross that left ankle over the right knee into a figure 4. And then possibly binding your fingers behind that right hamstring and taking a nice stretch that way. Otherwise, we will stay in our pigeon for a few more breaths. If you wanted to engage your pelvic floor and your core, you could tuck those right toes under, lift your thigh off the mat, and really try to stay balanced, keeping your hips in line. But if it doesn't feel good, relaxing that right knee, top of the right foot, you will get a deeper stretch. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, straightening the arms, coming to flat palms, removing any blocks. Exhaling, rolling over to that left hip, swinging the right leg around, coming in across legged, rolling forward, stepping back to hands and knees or plank. Optional chaturanga, it's our last one. I didn't make it all the way through. I collapsed to my knees. And then maybe hands and knees or plank, coming back to down dog. Nice work. From here, we're gonna step our right leg through into a 90-degree bend, runner's lunge. Our left toes can stay tucked under with the left knee elevated, or we can release the left knee and top of the left foot if that feels more supportive. Hands can stay on either side of the right foot or on blocks, or we can try bringing our hands to the top of the right thigh, drawing the inner thighs towards one another, lifting up, facing forward, breathing. And we can always bring that left knee down to the mat if that feels more secure. And then try either staying facing forward, or we can take a twist, taking the left elbow to the outside of the right quad, hands together in prayer, twisting, gazing just past that right elbow, or keeping our gaze down towards the mat. And left knee to the mat is always an option. If you've taken the twist, coming back to forward facing, one hand on each side of the right foot, releasing your left knee, top of the left foot, drawing your weight back, extending your right toes towards the ceiling, sitting back wherever feels like enough for you. Maybe you can sit all the way on your left heel. Maybe it feels better to hover over the right knee. Maybe you want to reach for that right foot. Maybe you have it in your practice to take full split, Hanumanasana, and you want to bust that out at this point. You're welcome to. Our hips are definitely warmed up, so if that's something you enjoy, now would be a good time. You can even get your heel, your left heel out of the way and just sit on your backside if that feels more supportive, whatever feels good for you right now. On an inhale, gently coming to the top of that left knee. As we exhale, rolling that right foot down, a flat foot. Bringing the right knee back to meet the left, toes touching, sitting back on the heels, arms extended long, forehead to the mat. I'm gonna turn this way for this side. So we're still in down dog. Inhaling up to hands and knees. As we exhale, tucking the toes under, lifting the knees off the mat, drawing our hips up and back to down dog. From here, we're gonna step our left foot through our hands, coming into a 90-degree bend in that left knee. Knee over the ankle. Right toes can stay tucked under with the right knee elevated, or we can release the right knee on top of the right foot if that feels more stable. Hands can stay on either side of the left foot, or if you have blocks, or if you want to try bringing your hands to the top of your left thigh, drawing the inner thighs towards one another, lifting up, facing forward, breathing. And then choosing to stay forward facing, or we can take a twist, taking our right elbow to the outside of the left quad, hands together in prayer, twisting, gazing just past that left elbow, or keeping our gaze down towards the mat. And right knee to the mat is always an option. If you've taken the twist, coming back to forward facing, one hand on each side of your left foot, releasing your right knee, top of the right foot, drawing your weight back, extending your left toes towards the ceiling. Sitting back wherever feels like enough for you, maybe all the way in your right heel this time, maybe hovering over your left knee is enough. Whatever feels best. If you want to reach for that left foot a little bit and pull your chest to your knee, maybe taking a micro bend in that left knee. And breathing. On an inhale, making your way to the top of your right knee. Exhale, lowering that left foot down, a flat foot. Bringing the left knee back to meet the right. Toes touching, sitting back on the heels, arms extended long, forehead to the mat. On your next inhale, coming up to hands and knees. As we exhale, we're going to draw our shoulders a little more forward in the backs of our hands, walking our knees back slightly, bending our elbows, keeping them close to the rib cage, lowering all the way down to the belly. Making sure there's enough room for one side of your cheek once you've lowered all the way down, bringing one side of your cheek to the mat, arms long by your sides, flip-flopping your feet a few times, giving your hips a wiggle, rotating your wrists in one direction and then the other. And then just taking a few restful breaths here. On an inhale, facing forward. As we exhale, extending our arms long in front. We're going to go through one limb at a time to practice. On your next inhale, lifting up that right leg. Straight right leg, pointing the right toes. Exhale, releasing. Next, inhale, lifting up the left leg. Straight left leg, pointing the left toes. Exhale, releasing. Inhaling, right arm reaching out, strong fingers. Exhale, releasing. Next, inhale, left arm reaching out, strong fingers. Exhale, releasing. Now we're going to go opposite limbs at the same time. Right leg, left arm, and lowering. Left leg, right arm, and lowering. Now same side of the body, right leg, right arm, and left leg, left arm, and lowering. Let's take a little break, bending the elbows, one hand on top of the other, one side of the cheek to the back of the hands. Taking a few restful breaths here, getting ourselves prepared to lift all four limbs at once. Inhale, facing forward, exhaling, extending your arms long in front, taking one practice breath in, exhaling, next breath in, lifting all four limbs off the mat at once. Really drawing in strong through your root, drawing your shoulders back, letting your heart soar through, taking tiny sips of air, a little higher, and releasing all the way down. Bending the elbows, one hand on top of the other side of your cheek to the back of the hands. We're going to take that one more time if you enjoyed it. If you did not, then you're welcome to just remain in your restful pose, but take one more super yogi pose. Inhale, facing forward, exhale, extending your arms long in front, practice breath in. Exhale, next breath in, lifting all four limbs off the mat at once. Really grounding in through your root, shoulders back, heart shining through. One more breath in and releasing. Nice work. Bending the elbows, one hand on top of the other, one ear to the back of the hands. Breathing it out. From here, if you want to bend your knees, flexing your feet so the bottoms of your feet are parallel to the ceiling, facing forward. If you want to windshield wiper your feet side to side a few times, giving your quads a little massage. And then coming back to center, reaching back with your arms, either for your heels, ankles, toes, pant legs, attempting to grab something if nothing's there, whatever's available. And then choose to stay just like this. Or if you want to take it one step further, drawing your knees together, flexing your feet, using your feet to kick up your hands and your hands to pull up your feet. Shoulders back, heart through. One more breath in. And releasing, letting your legs, arms, face, breath, flip-flopping, wiggling, whatever feels best right now. Just taking a few restorative breaths. When you feel ready, gently begin to bring your hands underneath your shoulders, facing forward, slowly pressing yourselves up to hands and knees, and gently sitting back on your heels. From here, we're going to roll over to our right hip, extending our legs in front of us, transitioning to our backs. If you want to first bend your knees and have the bottoms of your feet on the mat, and then slowly walk yourself to your neutral spine. I'm just going to take my battery pack out so I don't lay on it. If you have a battery pack, getting rid of it. Just kidding. And then slowly walking yourself down to your neutral spine. Knees bent, feet are about hips width apart. Maybe slightly pigeon toeing your toes, so your toes are a little more in than your heels. Being able to brush your heels with your fingertips is usually a good indication you're in a good spot. Staring straight up towards the ceiling, so your neck isn't in a weird position. You want to keep your neck in neutral, so try to keep staring straight up towards the ceiling, grounding down through the bottoms of the feet. On an inhale, lifting up the hips. As you exhale, drawing your knees towards one another, pointing them forward. You can stay just like this if you'd like, or if you have a block, you can place a block under your sacrum, your tailbone area, at whatever height feels best for you. You could even try tucking one shoulder blade at a time beneath you and binding your hands, if that feels good. Or maybe none of those things, whatever feels best in your body today. If you want to try kicking one leg up towards the ceiling and putting that foot down, and then kicking up the other leg, you can try playing around with that a few times. And then making sure both feet are planted on the mat. On an inhale, lifting up your hips, removing any blocks, untucking your shoulders if you bound them. As you exhale, slowly lowering one vertebra at a time, all the way down to your back. Once you've arrived, gently windshield wiper your knees side to side. Coming back to center, drawing your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms on the outsides of your legs, gently rocking side to side, maybe in a circular motion in one direction and then the other, and then coming back to center. We're going to continue to hug our right knee into our chest, extending our left leg long and flat on the mat in front of us. Straightening that right leg up towards the ceiling, flexing the right foot, binding our fingers behind the right hamstring, giving it a gentle press. And then we're going to bend that right knee. With our left hand, we're going to draw the outside of our right knee towards the left side of our bodies. So our left hand is drawing our right knee towards our left. Trying to keep both shoulders on the mat if we're able. And then finally, if it feels okay, turning to face your right hand. So we're kind of making a zigzag with our whole body. But if one of those zigs or zags doesn't feel good, please bring that body part back to neutral or in a position that feels more comfortable. It's a pretty intense stretch, but we really opened up a lot today, so as long as you don't have any injuries, it should feel nice and not relaxing, but it should feel nice and active. Few more breaths here. On your next inhale, lifting up that right knee. Exhale, rolling back to your neutral spine, hugging both knees into the chest, wrapping your arm on the outsides of your legs again, gently rocking side to side, maybe in a circular motion in one direction, and then the other, and then coming back to center. We're going to continue to hug our left knee into our chest, extending our right leg long and flat on the mat. Extending that left leg up towards the ceiling, flexing that foot, binding our fingers behind the left hamstring, giving it a gentle press. And then we're going to bend that left knee. With our right hand, we're going to tap the outside of our left knee and draw our left knee towards the right side of our bodies. Trying to keep both shoulders on the mat, and then turning to face our left hand. Few more breaths on the side. On your next inhale, slowly lifting up that left knee. Exhaling, rolling back to your neutral spine, hugging your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms on the outsides of your legs, gently rocking side to side, maybe in a circular motion in one direction and then the other, and then coming back to center. From here, we're going to bring our arms to the insides of our knees and grab the outsides of our feet, taking a happy baby pose if you enjoy that pose, or maybe a one leg at a time baby, or if you want to bring the soles of your feet together and take a butterfly or Baddha Konasana shape, or if there's any other pose that you enjoy, that you've been craving at this point of the class that's in the restorative family, if you want to put your legs at the wall, or if there's something that you're really craving, taking plow maybe. Wherever you are, unless you just got into something new. But if you took Happy Baby or something like that when I suggested it, gently bring in your heels to your backside, slowly pressing your knees towards one another, wrapping your arms on the outsides of your legs. Bringing your chin to your chest, forehead to your knees, making yourself into the tiniest ball you can make, squeezing your face together, pursing your lips, just taking tiny sips of air. Make yourself as little as you can, and then letting everything go. Legs long in front of you, arms long by your sides, flip-flopping your feet, giving your hips a wiggle, rotating your wrists in one direction and then the other, relaxing your shoulders, your jaw, your forehead. And then finally closing your eyes, making your way into Shavasana, your final resting pose of class. If you wanted to grab a blanket for yourself, or maybe shut a light out, but just knowing that it's time for your final rest of class. Gently begin to start wiggling your fingers and toes. When you feel ready, slowly rolling over to your right or your left side, whatever feels more natural to you. Hanging out there for a few moments. Gently begin to flutter your eyes open and closed a few times. And when you feel ready, making your way up to seated, and we'll close our practice together today. So the chakras are right behind me. Once again, finding your comfortable seat from the beginning of class. Closing your eyes if you'd like. Finding your breath, that third eye gaze. Doing a quick check-in with your body, seeing how you're feeling now. From the beginning of class, if anything shifted. And maybe taking a moment to acknowledge something or someone you're grateful for. And if you'd like to join me in one Om to close our practice together today, or you can just listen. Deep breath in through the nose. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for a beautiful class. Thank you for showing up today for yourselves and for your community. And make sure you drink plenty of water, and I hope to see you again. Have a great day.